Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tuts, and today we're going to continue our Polymer series by showing you how you can bundle up CSS into your custom elements so that way they become a little bit more of drag and drop solutions, and maybe you don't give them the complete styles, but enough styles to lay themselves out the way that you intended them to be used, and then that way the user can then override those styles with however they want the actual element to look. So keep watching, we're going to show you that now. So we have our Hello World app that we started in the last one. We basically just created a custom element named Hello World. That's all it's doing is outputting Hello World. Now let's say you want this Hello World to act a certain way every time you output this element. And we want this maybe to be not necessarily a certain font, but we want it to be a certain look, right? And that's part of this component's main requirements. Now that's not to say that we couldn't override it or something like that, but let's just say we have a component that needs specific CSS styling. Keep in mind something like a select list that has very specific styling. The options are all hidden until you click the select list. A select list has little arrow indicators to let you know that it's a select list, and just general little styles to let you know what it is. And that's sort of the things that we're thinking about here to add to our element. So how can we actually do this? Well, we can include a style tag within our template tag, just like you would in normal HTML. So we can just say style, and then within our style tag, we can go ahead and make our adjustments. So we can say that H1 is going to be, let's say, font family, no, not font size, font family, sans serif, right? We just want this to be sans serif all the time. We want it to have a text shadow of 1 pix, 1 pix, 3 pix, and we can do RGBA 0, 0, 0. Okay, just something like that. And now every time that this H1 is rendered, we can come in here, refresh, and you'll see that we have this. Let me increase the size here. You can see that we have this H1 with a small little text shadow on there. Now let's do a little experiment. And since we didn't declare any sort of class on this H1, we just said H1. So H1s are going to have these properties. Let's check out what happens if we just add an H1 to our page. Okay, so I just have a standard header H1 here, and I refresh. What you'll see is that our element is only getting the styles from within our element. Now what's great about this is we could write code that just says H1 and our CSS, and it's only going to apply to that element within it and not affect anything else. So that's really pretty cool. But let's say we want to override this style dial. You'll notice that if we inspect our Polymer element, our custom element here, we see that the Hello World has this shadow root, and then along with our style and Hello World. If we were to just say for our CSS, let's come back to our normal code here. Since I don't actually have a style sheet linked up, I'm just going to really quick, keep in mind this is just a quick example, I wouldn't typically do this. But let's say I want to affect H1s in the document. I could say H1 color red. Now come back here and refresh. Our standard header H1 is getting the color, but if we inspect this, not only is it not getting the color red, but it's not being overridden or anything. It's not even seeing necessarily that this is an H1, and that's because it's wrapped within this Hello World. So how can we override this shadow root, and we can get in here and modify these CSS properties to override their defaults? Well, we could use something called shadow. And so if we were to say we want to get the we want to be able to get the Hello World item, the Hello World element, and then inside of there get the H1. So we can say Hello World as if it were its own element. Now we could say : shadow, and then now save it and say H1. So this is hello world : shadow. That's accessing the shadow root. And then it's going to find the H1 within the shadow root. So let's come check this out and refresh. You'll now see that not only are we changing the color of this red, but it's overridden what we have. You can see that we are now hello world : shadow root H1 is overriding. Turn it off. It's back to normal right there. So this is how you add CSS to your custom elements. Now that we have CSS in our custom elements, we can now also override them. In the next video, we're going to show you how to actually create attributes onto your elements and pass those attributes into the element itself, and then you can then use that to do various things. So keep watching, we're going to get into that next. As always, this is Scott with Level Up Tuts. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment in the video or hit us up at Twitter or Facebook at Level Up Tuts. We love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.